Long before kings fell, before armies marched and empires rose, there was a man, chosen before birth, called to speak truth to a nation that refused to listen. His name was Jeremiah. He was young, tender-hearted, yet burdened with a weight heavier than any human shoulder could bear. God spoke to him in the quiet, in moments when the world was still, whispering words he could not ignore. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Imagine being chosen for a task so heavy, so dangerous, that fear would be your constant companion. Imagine being called to speak truth to kings, priests, and people whose hearts were hardened by pride and sin. Jeremiah wept, not only for himself, but for a people on the brink of destruction. He cried for a city he loved, for the sins that had hardened the hearts of generations, for the waywardness of those he called family, friends, and neighbors. He carried a burden no one else could see. By day, he walked through the streets of Jerusalem, watching merchants trade, children play, elders gossip, and priests boast, oblivious to the peril creeping upon them. By night, he sat alone, writing on scrolls with hands that trembled from exhaustion and sorrow, eyes swollen with tears. He wept not for vanity or fleeting sadness, but for justice, for truth, for the consequences that were inevitable. He warned them, turn back, return to God, or face the consequences of your rebellion. And yet who listens when the words are harsh, when the truth exposes the darkness inside hearts? The priests laughed at him. The kings scorned him. They mocked him. They imprisoned him. They cast him into pits of despair, yet the call of God burned too brightly in his soul for fear or cruelty to extinguish it. Jeremiah spoke of judgment. Babylon would come, houses would fall, children would cry for bread. The proud, arrogant city of Jerusalem, confident in its walls and armies, would be desolate. And yet, amid the warnings of doom, God whispered a promise. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans for welfare, for hope, not for evil. You will seek me, and you will find me. Even in the midst of destruction, even in exile, even when the heart of the nation was hardened and blind, God's mercy remained. Even when people turned their backs, God's hand was still outstretched, calling them home. Can you imagine the loneliness of Jeremiah? The ache of speaking a truth no one wants to hear? The despair of watching people march toward their own destruction while you scream, weep, plead, and pray for them? He wrestled with God in silence, sometimes questioning, sometimes lamenting, sometimes begging for relief. Why, Lord? Why must I suffer for speaking your words? Yet he remained faithful. His tears became a river, his sorrow a testament, his life a mirror of God's heartbreak over a wayward people. And through his pain, through his despair, he became a voice that could not be